Hey there, so here's why hamstring tightness, you can feel it and it's a symptom of sciatica, but it's not the cause of sciatica. So very often you will feel this tightness in the back of your leg, and it really can feel like if I just stretch this thing out, it's gonna feel better, but that's really counterproductive, and Jake's gonna kind of tell us why that is. It's a symptom, but it's not the cause of sciatica.
Yeah, I'll have you show the camera here. So if you can see here, we've got our spinal cord coming down, and that wraps off and shoots into the sciatic nerve. Everyone knows the sciatic nerve. It goes all the way down the leg, kind of starts at the top of the butt, and then runs all the way down where it splits at the knee and goes to the bottom of the foot and outside of the ankle here. So whenever I bend down to get a stretch on my hamstrings because I feel like they're tight, right? I want to stretch them out. What I'm actually doing is increasing the tension on that nerve root. So if I show you a disc model here and we look low in the back, Chris, maybe you can hold this up to my low back here as I do this. As I lean forward, if I have a disc issue, which is the most common cause of that sciatica-like symptoms, you can see that it starts to create that bulge that comes out. Let's show it up here on the camera here. It creates that bulge, and kind of when I lean forward, I pull on that nerve root back here, pulls up against that bulge, irritates it.
Not only tension on the nerve root from bending, but also compressive force from that piece of disc tissue that's in the way. And we know it feels tight. We get that.
Yeah.
But it's not caused from there.
So whenever we go to get that stretch on the hamstrings, we're actually probably aggravating the tissue or putting it on irritation. And that's when we can start to feel symptoms a little bit more, kind of feel that numbness, tingling, even that just like shooting sensation down the leg that a lot of people describe.
And it can even cause, a significant loss of motion. Remember that there was a young baseball player we had one time that thought he had strained his hamstring. So he was like, one leg was like, yep, no problem, really easy on one leg. The other leg he tried to do it, and it was like, oh, I just can't, it wouldn't straighten because it felt so tight back there. And so they were, the places he was at previously was aggressively, stretching and trying to work on hamstring stuff, which if it was a hamstring would be very effective, very, very appropriate. But, when you ask them even the history, well, how did you strain your hamstring? What happened? I don't know. Well, you have to have a mechanism in order to strain or tear a muscle. So without that, as soon as we kind of checked into the low back and kind of did a little bit of screening, it quickly changed, from like here to all of a sudden all the way straight within a few reps. So that was clear that it was more just generated from the low back, but he only felt it in the leg. You do not have to have, back or butt pain at all to have it be the origin of that symptom.
Yeah, and I'd even say this is a common scenario we hear, is that when people have this kind of issue going on, they'll say, yeah, I notice it when I'm driving.
Yeah.
So not only are you flexed in the low back, but you're also extending your leg out to hit the gas, hit the brake.
Yep.
People are like, yeah, it just feels like my hip, my glute, my hamstring are like on fire when I'm driving.
And that tensiony pulling feeling. Yeah.
Yeah, so those are common scenarios we see.
Even sometimes remember we had the runner, so running can do it too. When you advance that leg forward and pull your toes up, it's just like a tensiony pull every time in the back of the leg, and it feels like you've hurt your hamstring.
And runners are notorious for going straight to hamstring.
The more you stretch it, it won't solve it because it's not a hamstring issue. Now sometimes it is if they actually hurt the hamstring, but for the purposes of this video, it's not. Like this is why we're educating you on this, and you're going to have to do some different movements in the lower back to fix that.
Yeah. So if you feel like you have that hamstring burning sensation, that shooting sensation, that tension that you just cannot get rid of, and you've done all the hamstring stretches, the forward bends, the grab a band and pull your leg back over your body, and that's not working, it's probably time to dig in and look at the low back and see if that's where the cause of this issue is.
Yep.
So if you guys have questions on that, comment below. If you have questions on any other topic, spine, muscle, or joint related, we'd love to answer questions, and we'd be happy to put another video up.
Absolutely. Thanks.
Yep. We'll see you.